Different types of vehicles have different turning points, and operators need to know the correct turning points for each vehicle they operate. This lesson provides the operator with the fundamental understanding of how to safely turn the vehicle in any situation. Before we break down the specifics of the turning process, it's critical that you understand the consequences of executing a turn poorly. The length and width of your vehicle are much larger than normal vehicles such as cars, and that must be accounted for to prevent contact with the surroundings. This includes vehicles, signs, curbs, and of course pedestrians. While you are cornering, overhang and tail swing can cause significant damage, injury, and even loss of life.
In this example, the driver turned too early and put the rear wheels on the curb. Here, failure to leave enough space resulted in the rear overhang making contact with the light pole during the tail swing.
These examples all show the importance of getting this right. And in each of these examples, there was property damage, a disruption in the schedule and people's lives, and an obvious increase in stress for all involved. But each could have easily involved a pedestrian or a bicyclist, causing serious injury or loss of life. To say this is important would be an understatement. We can't stress enough how critical it is to pay attention to these fundamental techniques. Be sure you understand the material and review it as required before moving on. Let's start with some basic facts without getting too involved in higher math.
A vehicle's maximum turning range is determined by measuring that vehicle's turning radius, also called its turning circle. This is the distance traveled by the outer wheels of the vehicle while it makes the smallest circular turn it is capable of making. The vehicle's minimum turning range is determined by measuring the distance traveled by its inside wheels. For example, a typical minimum turning range for a standard 40-foot bus measured from the inside wheels is 21.5 feet. That's the minimum distance required to clear the curb. Depending on factors like lane width and how an intersection is designed, transit vehicles typically require an effective turning range of approximately 20 to 30 feet. When a 40-foot bus is turning at its tightest turning angle, the rear overhang of the back bumper extends out to 43.3 feet. Special care must be taken so that overhanging portions of the vehicle that pass over the corner of the curb do not hit pedestrians or fixed objects. The bottom line, understanding your vehicle's turning range helps you understand how to safely make turns using turning points.
As a professional operator, you now need to find the actual turning points that work for the specific vehicles you'll be operating. And remember that different vehicles will have different turning points, so it's always important to know what yours are. Here are some key elements in determining the correct turning points for your vehicle and making the turn safely.
If you're turning right, find the imaginary line on the right side of the roadway you're turning into. In this overhead view, you can see that the imaginary line runs along the far right of the road you are turning into and extends along in front of the vehicle. This line shows you where the right side of your vehicle must align when you have completed the right-hand turn. You'll also use this line and where it intersects with the vehicle to determine when to begin your turn. This will be based on the specific vehicle and the type of turn.
There are two types of turn, a squared turn and a round turn. You'll always want to strive for a squared turn, as you'll see in this example.
When possible, the ideal position is to have the right side of your vehicle 4 feet away from parallel parked cars. This is the 4-foot reference point that we discussed. However, depending on the type of vehicle and lane restrictions, you may not be able to maintain the 4-foot reference point, so you will want to position the bus up to 36 inches away from the right curb. You want to leave as much room on the right side as possible to avoid any fixed object collisions while not jeopardizing the space you have on your left. This could involve a light pole or a bus stop that would be really close to the edge.
Once the correct reference point of the vehicle reaches the imaginary line, the operator can turn the wheel hard to the right to execute the turn. You must always check your mirrors as you complete the turn to be sure you will not touch the curb or a nearby fixed object. In order to make the turn safely, at your tightest radius, you must slow the vehicle down significantly, ideally to between 3 and 5 miles per hour. Remember, always allow for potential issues such as off-tracking, tail swing, clearance, and mirrors. In order to help you know where your vehicle is in the lane during various maneuvers, visual cues can be used that are visible from the driver's seat. These are called reference points. Properly using your reference points will help lower the risk of accidents, especially with fixed objects and turning procedures.
Reference points are areas on the vehicle that will help you keep your vehicle centered in the roadway and enable you to properly position the vehicle for loading and unloading, help you make proper right and left turns, and back up without hitting anything with the rear of the vehicle, and help you to set up your vehicle to turn without cutting off the inside corner with your rear wheels, called off-tracking.
Reference points on different types of vehicles will not be the same because of variations in vehicle turning radius, seat position, height, mirrors, and other factors. It's important that you determine what the specific reference points are on your vehicle. This will help you avoid any fixed object collisions and optimize your mirror usage to help guide you. Here are the 5 reference points you'll use and information about each one.
The centering reference point is used to center the vehicle in your lane and avoid mirror strikes or side swipes. You must be aware of hazards on the left side of your vehicle, such as the mirrors of oncoming vehicles as well as clearances on the right side of the vehicle, such as parked cars. The 6-inch reference point is used for loading and unloading. It helps you position your vehicle 6 inches from the curb so passengers can safely and easily get on and off.
The 4-foot reference point is used to ensure that the side of your vehicle is approximately 4 feet from the curb when your vehicle is moving and is used to help with turns. When possible, the ideal position is to have the right side of your vehicle 4 feet away from parallel parked cars. If you cannot leave a 4-foot clearance in city traffic, try to leave it at least 3 feet, but drive very cautiously. This means extreme caution must be taken while operating a bus in city traffic. The 4-foot reference point also leaves enough room for you to react if a car door suddenly opens in your path or if a pedestrian steps into the street from between parked cars. This reference point is also extremely useful for right turns. Leveraging this reference point helps prevent cars from squeezing by on your right. Using this reference point also allows you to turn with precision and avoid turns that are too wide or too tight.
Before using the backing reference point, the first rule to follow is to avoid backing up if at all possible. If you have to put yourself in a position that absolutely requires backing, never back without permission from dispatch and approved assistance. When you do have permission to back up, get out and look or use a spotter. When you must back up, know your reference point. Make sure you always stop the vehicle before your backing reference point lines up with the bottom of whatever is behind you. These will vary by vehicle but may include a tail light or rear fender visible from your mirror. To practice finding this reference point, have someone place a safety cone on the pavement. Then, with the help of your spotter, back the vehicle until you are 12 inches from the base of the cone. One technique in finding how to know that you are exactly 12 inches from the base of the cone is to then attach a string to the rearview mirror and stretch it back to the base of the cone. Your reference point will be the lowest part of the vehicle's body that the ribbon passes. Again, this may be a tail light or rear fender. Check this during training by using a spotter to back the vehicle up the cone. Then use your mirrors to find an object on the vehicle that lines up with the cone. Intersection reference point is very helpful for safely maneuvering through intersections for your turns. This reference point helps you square your turns and avoid side swipes with parked vehicles or fixed objects during that turn.
I don't know about you, but every year when I think of summer, this is what I think of. Warm sun, cool water, relaxation. But sometimes that's not how it turns out. Every year I forget how much time I spend working in the heat. You know, pulling my weight, being a team player, and man, it gets hot out there. But the thing is, if I don't take care of myself, my health will be on the line. And that's why I wanted to remind myself and the rest of you what we need to watch out for in the summertime heat. When it comes to hot weather hazards, there are two major conditions you need to know about: heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Now, you've probably heard of both of them before, but I'll go over them real quick in case you need a refresher on either one. Heat exhaustion symptoms are feeling dizzy or faint, sweating excessively, cool, pale skin, nausea, or vomiting. Okay, where was I? Weak, rapid pulse, and muscle cramps. Those are the symptoms of heat exhaustion. Ooh, Charlie horse. Man, I feel like I'm made out of wood. With heat exhaustion, you can turn things around by cooling off with some water, some rest, and some shade. Heat stroke, on the other hand, that is a medical emergency. With heat stroke, you'll experience a throbbing headache. The biggest red flag that you're suffering from heat stroke is the fact that you'll stop sweating. Your skin will be hot, it'll be red, and since you're not sweating, it'll also be dry. And on top of that, you may experience nausea or vomiting. You'll have a strong, rapid pulse. And you may even lose consciousness. In this case, you're in a medical emergency and you need to call 911. You need to take immediate action to cool yourself until help arrives. Now, none of us want to end up like this with heat exhaustion or heat stroke, so I'm going to give you a few things to do that can help you prevent these scenarios. 1. Plan for warmer weather with how you dress. Use sunscreen and use hats. 2. Pace yourself. Drink water and take breaks in the shade. 3. Limit caffeine and alcohol and increase water consumption. 4. Eat healthy. This makes you feel better, and also it provides you with electrolytes. 5. Know if the medications that you may be on make you more prone to heat illnesses. So that's what you need to know to keep yourself healthy this summer. Don't forget them. Watch this video again if you have to. Tell your friends about it. But most importantly, have fun and stay cool doing it.
That's why you make sure this your life.